Can you imagine making half as much as money as you're making right now with everything else being the same? That's what most real estate agents and mortgage brokers are going through right now. Stats are out and the number of homes sold in the GTA are almost down 50% compared to the same time in 2021. Now you might say 2021 was a record year and it was one-off, and you're absolutely correct. But even if you compare it to 2022, we're down almost 15% in terms of number of transactions. Anyways, I just thought I could share this with you, but this isn't about me or other realtors. This is about you. And before I start breaking down the numbers for the month of October, I just want to say welcome back to the channel. My name is Dilyar Murat. I'm a real estate broker here in the Greater Toronto area, and I've recently gained like 10 new subscribers. And I know it doesn't sound much to you, but to me, that means a lot. And I want to thank each and every one of you for commenting, subscribing, and sharing these videos with your friends. So with that said, let's talk about the real estate market here in Toronto for the month of October, because there is a lot to cover. So the Toronto Real Estate Board just released the stats, and the stats show that the average price of a home for the month of October was almost the same as that of September, which was also pretty much the same as for the month of August. So you could say for 3 months in a row, the prices have pretty much flatlined. And remember, what I'm showing you here, the average days in the market, active listings, is everything that's reported on the Toronto Real Estate Board. So you're looking at the average of City of Toronto, Peel region, Halton region, York region, and Durham region. Average price of a home for the month of October was $1,125,928, which is up slightly, or 3.5% compared to the same time in 2022. Number of sales are still very low, coming in at 4,646, one of the slowest Octobers in almost 2 decades. Now this is even crazier given that Toronto Real Estate Board has 73,000 real estate agents. Now keep in mind, prices haven't been falling off the cliff if you look at data, but if you stick with me to the end, I'll share with you some insights being on the front lines that may be of help if you're looking to buy or maybe sell in this market. So let's shift our focus back to the chart. New listings across the GTA have gone up by 38%, while the active listings are up 50% compared to the same time last year. Now those are some big numbers, and we currently have just shy of 20,000 active listings for sale as of end of October, or 19,540 to be exact. So let's do a quick math here. If you take the average active listings at the end of October, which is 19,540, and divide it by the total number of homes sold in October, which is 4,646, you get 4.2. So we have 4 months of inventory, which means we are in a balanced market. But remember what I said earlier, the numbers we see here are the combination and average of all asset classes and everything in the Greater Toronto area. So if you have a 3-bedroom townhouse with a single car garage in South Whitby, you need to know what your micro market is doing in your area, because you can't just go off of these numbers. Speaking of micro markets, let's talk about the condo market in Toronto. As of this morning, there are almost 2,300 condos for sale. In the last 30 days, 272 condos in Toronto have sold, average days on the market being 23 to 24 days. So if you do the same math we did earlier, taking the active listings, which is just shy of 2,300 condos, and divide it by number of condos sold in the last 30 days, you get over 8, meaning we have over 8 months of inventory in the condo segment. And that's certainly a buyer's market if you're looking to buy a condo in Toronto. Also, remember what I said earlier about average prices being kind of flatlined? Well, the condo prices actually have been coming down from a month-over-month perspective. Both the average and median prices of condos in core Toronto have come down roughly 30,000 compared to September, and the average condo prices have fell roughly 5% compared to the same time last year. Now here's a shocking stat you probably don't know. The median and average prices of condos in Toronto have not seen any appreciation in almost 4 years. Now we can track it all the way back to November of 2019, and you'll find condo prices in Toronto are trading around the same levels as they are trading right now. And now I can dissect each and every one of these markets, but that means this video would be a 3-hour long video and you will never watch it to the end. So if you want to chat more about your specific property or your real estate goals, feel free to send me a message or just comment below, or you can book a meeting with me directly through the link in my bio. Let's head over to the Durham region and look at what prices are doing over here. Now ignore this ugly chart as always, but let's focus on the numbers. The median prices in Durham have been holding fairly steady in the last 3 months, with exception to Pickering and Ajax, depending on what asset classes you're looking at. Now, one interesting observation: we're seeing inventory rising faster in Pickering than the rest of Durham. Here I have the median prices of detached homes for the last 3 months in Durham region. One thing to keep in mind, if you're looking at detached homes under $1 million in Pickering, Ajax, or Whitby, chances are you're still in a seller's market for now. And you notice here that the detached home prices in Clarington, Oshawa, and Whitby have been holding fairly steady for the last 3 months. You see a little bit up or down, but for the most part, it's holding fairly steady. But you look at Pickering, Pickering saw a pretty big dip from September to October. And Pickering also saw a pretty big jump from August to September. This is because the detached market in Pickering can vary. You see, you have these older homes that could sell maybe in the 800,000 or 900,000s, the old back splits or bungalows and the century or Victorian homes. And then you have these big, beautiful $2.5 million plus homes that have sold closer to water or in the Rouge. That could really skew the average or median prices depending on how you look at it. So I wouldn't get too excited or too depressed just based on 1 month of data. So to sum it up, housing inventory in the GTA is rising, but not at the same pace everywhere. Some areas and asset classes in GTA are still in the seller's market, but a very small percentage. But majority are in a balanced market and some are even in a buyer's market. And lastly, many are wondering why the average or median prices haven't really been coming down despite the spike in inventory levels. Now think of this part of the video as just off the records, because I'm just gonna share with you my observations and my opinion about this market. I'm here to tell you that prices are actually coming down, but you just can't see it when you look at the data. I know that sounds confusing, but let me explain. The homes that are selling right now, at least here in the Durham region, are a lot nicer than the ones that sold a few months back. But the catch is they're selling at the same price. You see, when you look at data, and you see an average price of a 4-bedroom detached, for example, you might say, well, look, the prices haven't really changed. The 4-bedroom detached was selling for 1.1 4 months ago, and they're still selling for 1.1. We don't see the big change in prices. But that's not the case. So if you actually take a sample of homes that have sold recently and compared to 3 or 4 months ago, you'll quickly realize the homes that are selling right now are superior. If you look at these homes and you go through the pictures and look at the finishes and streets they're on, etc., you'll notice that the homes that are selling right now is worth more than the ones that have sold a few months back. But the catch is they're both selling for the same price. That's why I always say, data isn't hard to obtain, but it's how you interpret data that's really, really important. So then you might say, well, what about the rest then? What about the nice, not so nice ones? What's happening to them? Because technically, if the nice ones are selling for less, those should be selling for a lot less as well. Well, not necessarily. You see, that's why we have a lot of active listings for sale, because the not so nice ones are either getting terminated or they're just sitting on the market. Because as a homeowner, despite what the market is doing or what your house looks like, your number one goal is always going to be getting the most amount of money for your home. Would you agree? Let's just say there are 4 houses for sale on the same street. It would take one of them to sell at a discount for the other 3 to realize, oh shoot, maybe this is where the market is going. This might be the reality, and the other 3 will probably have to catch up and start dropping their prices as well. And you see, that takes time. Unlike stocks, real estate prices just don't change overnight like that. It does take some time. So I wouldn't be surprised if there would be more pressure on prices in the coming months, because we're approaching Christmas and winter is coming. So real estate tends to slow down in the winter months. And I can see the inventory staying the same, possibly creeping up a little bit, while the sales remaining pretty soft, and that could put some pressure on prices. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.